Fans, welcome to Mountaineer Football tonight with Coach Aaron. We're doing a little bit different because we had an issue with getting our camera operator. Drew was out of town, so we're going to do it this way. I've got Coach on the phone. We're going to ask him some questions about the game Friday night against Catholic, and we're going to talk about the game coming up with Forest View this week. And so I'll take myself off the screen so you don't have to see me, and we'll talk to Coach. Coach, welcome to the show. Glad you're with us. Sorry we're having to do it this way. I appreciate your patience. Let's talk about the game Friday. As you and I were talking off air, you got to be really pleased with how the guys fought and played really hard in the game.
Yeah, we got behind real early, had some mistakes, couldn't get the ball moving, had a really hard time running the ball early, especially, the whole game, but I was really pleased with the way our players kept fighting back, and down 14-0, we stayed right there in the game, had a chance to tie it up. We just couldn't get over the hump, but I am really proud of their effort.
Coach, do you think what do you think the major turning point was? Was it the kickoff return, or was it just for the touchdown, or was it just the overall? And I know this is kind of a dumb question, but I'm saying like the overall fight. It just seems like that kickoff return really gave you some juice. The offense settled down, and you guys got to really click in. I mean, your quick screens, maybe some tunnel screens, some things underneath, out in the flat seemed to be working really well for you.
Yeah, we had seen that in some of the other video, and we went to that early, but I will say that, the fake punt kind of gave us some life early. I think that kind of pumped our kids up. We ended up not getting anything off of that. But I think that just having that play kept our guys in it.
Yes.
And Hutch had the return. X had that return on the kickoff. I believe that's when we kind of knew, if we could just hang in there, that we would have a chance. So,
right.
Those special plays helped us a lot.
I saw the offense specifically really began to click. I mean, you guys, I know you didn't run the ball probably as well as you wanted to, but you did have some success in the running game because I know how good they are up front. For the most part, I know KJ, I know you guys moved the pocket a little bit, and you got the ball out quick a lot of times, but a lot of times he had a pretty clean pocket to throw from as well.
Yeah, and I was pleased with that. He only got touched twice, I believe, and of course, one of them was a pretty big hit, which we weren't real happy with. But I thought up front we did a good job with the passing game, like you said, giving them time. And I thought he did a pretty good job getting the ball where it needed to be. We had a couple of crucial drops that I wish we could have back.
Right.
I'm sure they do too. But I thought I was pleased with that. I would just say that after watching film of Charlotte County, I didn't know. Sometimes when you watch film, you can't tell how good or sometimes how poor a team is. But I did not know they were as good as they are up front.
Right.
We knew they were strong. We knew they were they were going to be tough to block consistently. But I had no idea that they were as strong as they were and as quick as they were. So, that really put a hurting on our running game.
Coach, I know you too, like with their offense, it's a lot of running, it's a lot of ground and pound. I know you might feel like you wanted to have a little bit of better success, but I thought overall the defense responded. I mean, there was one drive where they went almost the length of the field and just ate some clock. But overall, I thought the guys moved around well. I thought they were at the point of contact and doing some things. What did you think about your defensive effort?
First of all, you're right. They did move around well. They were getting after it, but after we went back and watched the film. Coach Carroll was really disappointed because we worked so hard this week about making sure we were getting lined up properly.
Right.
And you're playing a team that runs that kind of offense, that's paramount to success. You have to have guys in the right gaps, and they were doing some shifting and that kind of stuff, and it does make it a little difficult. But we had coached it, and there was times they had a guard, a tackle, another tackle, a tight end, and a wing to
Yes.
inside.
Yes.
And we had 2 defensive linemen to that side.
Right.
And you can't do that. You're not going to be successful doing that. And we should have shifted our whole front over, and they were coached on it. They were coached on it several times, enough to be well aware of it. And I don't know if we just got tired, mentally tired, from all of the pounding, but our guys just didn't adjust well, especially later in the game.
Yeah. I thought also one of the things I noticed, it was a cleaner game. I know you said last week you had a whole card listed of the penalties. You could tell maybe you guys addressed that this past week in practice, because I know we had a couple that hurt us a little bit. One of them hurt more than a little bit at one point, but however, you guys played with more discipline this week, it seemed.
Yeah, I thought everybody played a little better. We did have a couple penalties that hurt us more than others, but we did do a much better job, which is a good sign, at this point.
So, Coach, and again, I'm not trying to make this long because I know you're trying to get home, and this is a different way of doing it. But, right, and I know you always take notes, but you're driving, so I don't want you to look at the notes, of course. But I know you, and I know how good you are about this kind of stuff. What were your takeaways from the game?
Well, I guess the first takeaway that I would have to go back to is going to a new facility, going to a new place is always kind of it kind of gets you messed up. We had to change our whole itinerary because we wanted to make sure we got over there in plenty of time, not get caught up in a bunch of traffic, and then once we got there, they have a locker room for you, but the locker room's up in the school. And then if you go to the locker room and you stay up there, when you walk back down, you got to walk right past the student section. I'm sure they probably do that on purpose.
Right.
Which kind of gives you, that's not a real good scenario for what you're trying to do when you're trying to get you guys ready to play. So we ended up going and warming up and doing some things, our pregame stuff down on the practice field across the street. And so that's the first takeaway, is that when you go to somebody else's stadium, it can mess you up and get you out of your rhythm of what you're used to doing.
Right.
The second takeaway is that when you watch football teams, the weight room is a part of the game that people don't see.
Right.
Our guys, they've got to lift. They've got to get stronger. They got to want to get stronger. We have a lot of guys in the weightlifting class. They're working, but I'm not sure they're actually getting everything out of that weight room that they need to, and that's on them. We can't coach effort. They have got to go in there and get it done. Because physically, we got beat up front, especially Friday, and so they, as a player, they should notice, hey man, those guys are stronger than we were. So we've got to fix that. And we can. That's something you can change.
Right.
And then the last takeaway is, even though you don't like to lose, I don't even like to say that word. You don't like to get beat, but there's always a silver lining, and the silver lining is exactly what we talked about in the very beginning. Our guys gave great effort Friday night.
Yes.
And that is something that you can't substitute for.
No.
Great effort is number one. And like my mom always said, there's some things you might not be able to do, but giving your best you can do it everything you do.
Absolutely.
And so that's a good sign.
Because that's also, Coach, something that you can really build on because of
Yes,
those things you said. Foreign environment, a tough place to go, a place they don't lose often, a well-coached team, disciplined, and you guys were right there with them. I mean, you're talking, a very close game. And, the thing I thought about it too, let's say you have to play them again. Let's just say you do in the playoffs. Now you're facing a team that our boys will have some confidence against. If you go in there and you get blown out and they're looking at playing them again, they're like, I don't know if we can hang with them maybe. But now they're thinking they can play with anybody, which I know they can play with anybody, and they can play with anybody. But the point is they've got to build confidence. And I think playing the way they did Friday really does that for them.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So, Coach, also, again, not looking at your notes, but do you know off the top of your head, do you remember, do you want to do Players of the Week or you want to wait and do them next week?
Well, you got to remember now, I don't do Players of the Week.
That's right. Well, see, you spoil me because I'm so used to us winning, I don't remember. That's right. Okay.
I would say that if Jason Butler wants to name Player of the Week, he has every right to, because he's a sponsor for it. And he can do that all he wants, but I won't. However, I do want to do this, Craig, because it is very important. And I'm not pointing out one player over everybody else.
Right.
But I do want to mention Xavier Hutchins.
Yes.
He had his best game that he's had since he's been in the Kings Mountain jersey, and he had 7 catches, 97 yards, which was awesome. He had the one kickoff return that was 91 yards. He did a great job on defense also, which is hard to do. And then when you look at it, and don't forget, he stepped in at quarterback,
threw a touchdown pass,
one with a touchdown.
Right? Yeah.
So he had a great night, and I can't do this without, it's all about the kids.
Sure.
Anyway.
Sure.
But X had a really super night. KJ Bell, he was 19 of 29 passing, and 228 yards with a touchdown, which is a pretty decent night at quarterback. So both of those guys, and there were others, there were others that contributed well. But then, on defense, we had a couple guys, Avon Ingram, he led the team with production points, and they weren't a lot of production points, but he led the team. And he had 36. Then we had 6 other players that were in the 20s, which that's actually really low for production points. But there's 7 guys that led the team in production points, and so it was kind of spread around. The bad thing is that a lot of those were DBs, and that's not a good sign when your DBs are making all the tackles. That's not what we want. So, but I did want to mention X and KJ and those defensive players that had a good night.
Absolutely, I agree with that, Coach. X coming in at that moment, a time when you really needed to score, and steps right in and throws a pass like he's done it every day. And Tex makes a great catch, and I mean it was a good effort and a good job there. So overall, a 28-21 loss, but a close game in that respect because our guys fought back. We got to like what we did there, and we'll chalk that one up and we'll move on. So now we got the Jaguars going down to Forest View again this year. We played them right after Helene last year, which was weird. Tell me what you know or what you're seeing from Forest View this year, Coach.
They're going to play us. The one thing that we know about them, not talking about what we see in them, but they're going to play us harder than they play anybody else.
Right.
It's weird how it's that way. I don't know what it is about Kings Mountain, but we always get everybody's best, and they play really, really hard, and they've got a couple of really good linebackers. They've got some corners that cover really well. So we're going to have to do a good job controlling the line of scrimmage and getting first downs on the ground. We're going to have to take our chances, or find the right time to throw the football, throw it in the right spot. they do a lot of things up front defensively. They're going to stunt. They're going to send people, and we've got to figure out how to pick them all up and get the ball through a crease or pick them up and get the ball thrown over top. We've got to find the right times to do that, the right ways to do it. Defensively, from the other side, they're going to spread us out and do which that's another point about the Catholic game is that honestly, when you look at it, we really don't match up that well with that type of a team. We match up a little bit better with Forest View. So defensively, they're going to spread it out, and offensively, they're going to spread it out, and we're going to have to do a good job making sure we get people to the football and all 11 dudes playing hard.
Yeah. And if you can go in and have a good showing, Coach, and try to get this first conference win, that'll be a good way to go into the bye week.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
We've got to get some people well. Yeah, we're banged up a little bit, and we've got to get some people well, and we've got to get through the Forest View game and take that bye week to use it to heal up.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, again, I know this is unorthodox. It's a little shorter than we normally do, but it's okay. We still got the point across, and just want to congratulate you for how the guys played Friday, and I want you to and wish you good luck for this coming week against Forest View, and want you to get home safe also. I don't want your wife getting mad at me because I got you in trouble because you got messed up driving, but appreciate your time, Coach, as always, and appreciate your insight, and good luck Friday, and we'll see you then.
Thanks a lot.
All right,
Greg.
Coach.
I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, fans. Well, there's me cut off on the screen. Good conversation with Coach. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I know it's not the greatest way and not the greatest format to do this, but we want to do this for the fans. That's why we do it. Drew and Lamont and myself and Mike Gann and Wes and Jeff and all the guys. I know I'm leaving people out, but all the guys that help and folks that help do the broadcast and even this show. We just want to try to do it for the fans and do things for you guys because you're the ones that make it happen in the stands and help us to do this. The Touchdown Club alone, we talk about the Touchdown Club each week. Please make sure you join if you're not there. Like and subscribe, first of all, to our YouTube channel, but also join the Touchdown Club because as I tell you each week, the Touchdown Club is more than just about helping the football team. They help everything Mountaineer, everything. So if you're already a member, thank you, because your time and effort helps things at our school. And when our school goes and does things, our athletic department, our academic side, the Touchdown Club helps. And we really appreciate that. Speaking of that, we will have a broadcast Friday night, which is good because Gaston County has not let us do that each week. It will not be a video broadcast, but it will be an audio broadcast. So if you can't get to the game and you would like to listen to it, we will be on the YouTube channel and doing an audio broadcast. So you can see that, or not see it. You'll be able to hear that Friday night. Kickoff is at 7:30. Drew will be on the air, and he will have some good information pregame, and then also cover the game when our Mountaineers take on the Jaguars. Do want to make sure I help. I'm going to look to the side a moment. Do want to make sure and thank our sponsors. Of course, Harris Funeral Home, ASI, Butler's Outdoor Designs, Kimberly Spicer CPA, HSI Land Development, Bridges Hardware, Point 135 Realty, Hordes Container Service, Hoppers Enterprise, Spate Concrete Products, Cody Barrett DDS, wonderful guy, by the way, Sky Country Transportation. We want to thank them for their time and sponsoring us and all that we do. And thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the unorthodox way. This is the best way we could do it this week. Hopefully next week things will be back to normal. We'll talk about the Forest View game. We'll talk about the bye week and then what's coming up after, because as you remember, you all know the schedule. We've got a bye week after Forest View. Then we have homecoming with North Gaston, and then we get two good ones right back to back, Ashbrook, South Point. So we're getting ready to go down the main stretch of the home season. The conference season, and we're going to have some tough games ahead, but the Mountaineers will be ready. I appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you can come to the game Friday at Forest View. If not, it'll be on the air, and we will see you there hopefully. If not, we'll see you next week on the Coaches Show, back live, sort of live. We'll record it from the field house. Until then, have a wonderful week. Rest up, love your family, hug them, tell them you love them, and thank the Lord for them each day and for the many blessings he's given you. Have a wonderful week. And as always, go Mountaineers.